The Consortium of Health and Military Performance, also known as CHAMP, of the Uniformed Services University of Health and Science, known as USUHS, is conducting a study to understand a possible genetic link between sickle cell trait, known as SCT, and exercise-related events, known as EREs, such as exertional rhabdomyolysis, muscle damage, heat stroke, and or collapse. We are inviting African-American men and women with sickle cell trait and their family members to participate. Participating in the study will require you to complete a health history questionnaire, a form authorizing our study physician to gather health information from you and your healthcare provider, as well as a one-time blood donation. In order to qualify for the study, you must meet the following criteria: be African American, be sickle cell trait positive, be able to read, speak, and understand English, be between the ages of 18 and 80, and currently not being treated for any mental or psychological disorders. Participation is completely voluntary, and your decision will not impact your healthcare. The results for this study are for research purposes only and are not intended to directly benefit any individual for confidentiality reasons. However, the results of this study are intended to help better shape policies and associated health risks affecting the SCT community. Participants may be compensated for their time. To join the study, or if you would like additional information regarding the study, please contact the study team by phone, area code 240-479-9514, or email sctstudy-ggg@usuhs.edu.
The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, morrismedialive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to the ladies' room.
Welcome.
I'm Brenda. It's Friday.
Yeah, it's your girl KB. Weekend.
I know. That's the whole thing. Is our weekend starts today, but we always have to discuss what happened last weekend.
Yeah.
How was your last weekend?
Last weekend was wonderful. I went to an event for women bosses.
Okay, that was awesome.
Since I'm a boss. No, just that's what they call me.
Tell somebody.
No, it was really good. It was really good. It was really inspirational.
That's awesome.
I left there wanting to do more.
Okay.
So we'll see what's coming up in the days to come. Yeah.
I like that. I like the fact you said I left there wanting to do more.
Yes.
So you got to put that on the project board. What is the more is, you know what I mean? And let's get it. Well, this week, I did do Serena Williams already as my Woman of the Week, but I have to bring her back up because I was a little bit disturbed by the situation that was happening with her as she was playing, because here she is, a professional.
Right.
This is her game. This is her life. This is what she does for a living, and no one should challenge her. But I think her standing up and speaking up is going to help the players that's coming behind her, especially women, because a lot of the women players did get on board. After the fact.
We'll see, because the men have been doing that. The men have been, reacting, throwing their tennis rackets, or yelling at the judges, and their fines and penalties were not really
steep
as much.
And probably because a couple of the tennis guys did speak up too and say, "Hey, what's going on? Because we've done worse and said worse, and so why is this happening?" But I'm just glad at this point in her life that she's taking a stand, because if we don't take a stand for the things that we're involved with, then who else will, or will fall for anything? You already know. True. But I like her quote. I took a quote from her, and she said that a champion is not how many games you win, but a champion is how you respond to any type of failure or what appears to be failure. That's a champion. So I believe that, because it's like, get yourself up. And it's called next.
And she showed that too, because, the other girl won. I forgot her name, but she won. And Serena went over there and, told the crowd not to boo, and she hugged her. So, she is a champion.
But the one thing I didn't do, and I mad at myself because I didn't really research it, was the point that she lost, that would not have been a point for the game for her, would it have been? Because they said she lost a point. They took a point from her.
Well, they took a couple of points from her. And had they not have taken so many points from her, I believe she would have won.
So that right there, that was big for her to go over there and embrace the other young lady, which I don't know who that is either. But I'm just proud of her. Just stand up.
Yeah.
Because we have to stand up. It's important that we do that, because it's just
especially when you're mad. Somebody's
messing with your money
in the heat of the moment. Yeah.
Who'd you choose for your woman of the week this week?
My woman of the week is a woman who I admire. She's very inspiring. She's very caring. She's a mother. She has 6 children, a husband. She's a good wife. I just learned so much from watching her, talking with her. I consult with her, cry with her, but she's a really awesome lady. And one quote from her is, "Just get it done. Just get it done." And my woman of the week is Brenda Bradford.
Oh my God!
From the ladies' room.
Thank you, Kim. Oh my God! Don't make me get in my feelings here, okay?
Do it.
God! Stop it! Yeah, that's me. When you said "let's get it done," all right? Like, oh,
just get it done.
Just get it done, whatever it takes. Oh my God! Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really do.
Well, thank you for joining us this morning with, on the ladies' room. We have a special guest in the house today, Tymeka Coney, who is the writer and producer of the choreo poem stage play Menopause.
Okay.
Ages of the Color.
Wow.
Ages of the Colors of Love. And we're going to join her after the break.
She's going to join us, right?
I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay. It's Friday. It's our weekend. Yes. And I wanted to touch a little bit of base, just a little bit of stuff going on around in the media.
Yeah.
And one of them was, did you hear about the SB 10 law?
I did. And I just feel a certain way about that. No more bail bonds.
Yeah, that's crazy. Governor Jerry Brown has signed a bill that will go into effect August of 2019, which will not allow individuals to bail out of jail.
And California is going to be the first state.
To
implement this
law. Mm-hmm. You absolutely cannot bail out of jail. That affects the 8th Amendment.
Well, there's some people are saying, I guess some people are saying that it allows the rich and the poor to be treated fairly, which I disagree. Because you're leaving it up to a judge to look at a file, look at your picture and look at a file, and he makes an assessment. And if he sees that you have 2 strikes, I'm pretty sure he's going to,
you're not going to get out. You're not getting out. They're saying that the judge will allow them to get out on their own recognizance. And that's, just like you said, if a guy have 2 strikes and something happens and he could be really innocent, but that 2 strike makes him look like a flight risk. Mm-hmm. So he's not going to be able to bail out. And they're saying each judge has the right to make that assessment. Well, who's assessing the judge? I'm just saying, just because you're a judge, it does not mean that you're going to make the right decision. But I do understand being a judge or being on any type of platform like that is that you do see so many people.
True.
Over so much time until it kind of gives you a feel of what's really going on. But then we could have the
There's exceptions to every rule. There might be some person that,
no, I hear you.
That's I just don't know.
I just don't think it's fair that they would do that. I think that each individual, guilty or not guilty, have a right to bail out, have a right to get public.
But then they're also saying the people who can't bail out, that's not fair to them because they don't have a home to put up or they don't have nobody to give them bail money. So they're saying this puts everybody on the same playing field. In the same playing field.
You go to jail and you don't bail out. You don't go to work.
You lose your job.
You can lose your job. You can lose your home. There's a lot of stuff at stake for an innocent individual.
Sure.
And I just don't think that that's appropriate. I think that that's a right that people should continue to have. And I think that what's going to happen is that it's going to be on the ballot of the next election, but we need
to really pay attention to that.
They will need maybe 3,000 signatures to even get it on the ballot. But now here we are retroacting, doing something was already in place, already done. Now they changed it. Now we have to go back to the ballot to get it back on there to say that people do have a right to bail out. What if a guy get caught with a pill? And this appeal, an appeal could be considered a drug, and you're in jail until 2 weeks minimum until you get to see the judge. And then how far backed up is the system to the point where how long will it take for you to see the judge? It may be longer than 2 weeks.
Yeah, and then the poor bail bondsmen.
Oh my God! That's totally going to put them out of a whole situation. So I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay with it. I would love to have a couple guests on that can actually talk a little bit more and explain it into a little bit more detail. But Governor Jerry Brown, What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And I think what we need to do too, just made me think about whenever there's a president or anybody that's elected in our any official, we have a right to go and look up the laws that they pass.
But who does that?
That's what I'm saying. So we don't know what is happening because whatever they do in their term, it's going to affect our community, our society in the future. And we need to be a little bit more aware of that. But I was really a little bit outdone with that. And so I wanted to make that be known that we do need to make sure that we get the signatures and then we get to stop it.
Yeah. But, I mean, I want to hear fully,
both sides of it.
Both sides of because, I mean, it does kind of put everybody at the same level as far as if you can make bail or if you can't.
But that's
rich,
not
poor. But I do understand that the judges.
But it's still not fair. The same level, our same level. We're not same level because everybody in this society.
It's not fair.
I don't think it's not fair because if I worked hard and I have enough money to pay for an attorney. Then let me have that option.
Right. So,
let me have that option to exercise that. Let me bail out. I mean, I can really help you, but at the same time, can I help? If I can help myself, let me help myself. Yeah. I don't think that that's wrong. I think that each of us make choices in this life, and the decisions we make affect our finances.
That's true.
And we can be born into poverty. Don't mean you have to stay in the poverty.
True.
And but the other part of that too is, I understand that,
because
but
some people just can't make it anyway, so they're there. I mean, it's just
it's a lot of factors involved.
We're gonna have somebody come in and talk.
But I don't want my right to be taken away from me to be able to bail out. I don't want that right taken because that means if you start off with that, and this is what they do, taking away this right, then the next right. They could go back and say, what if they decide to say, okay, the treaty or the agreement that we signed for slavery was only for 99 years. No, seriously.
And this
now
is 100 years.
Yes, now the 99 years is up, so now what are we going to do?
Because they are slowly but surely taking away
all the rights. And we can't, it's unacceptable. Yeah. And then it's the sneakiness of doing a bill like that, and it's already
trying
signed.
to make it seem like it's the better for everybody. We know
can you
not
trust
true.
it?
Can you ever? Can you ever?
Can you trust it? And then so the SB 10 bill, it has already been signed, and we're going to do a little bit more research on it and have a couple people come on, from a bail bondsman to someone from maybe Lexington Law who deals with bonds and all this constantly and every day, and that's their livelihood.
Yeah. So are you Team Nicki or are you Team Cardi B?
I'm Team Cardi.
You Team Cardi?
I'm Team Cardi because Cardi is in a transformation in her life. Okay. Nicki been in the game a long time, so she played. Cardi playing checkers and Nicki is playing chess.
You think so?
I think Nicki set that up like that. You know what I mean? This is just my own personal thoughts on it. I think that Cardi is not. She haven't got her chess game up, and that means that when you're out in public and anything that's going on, you don't take it to the streets. You can handle it another way. And then you have other people that can handle that. You don't have yourself at a fashion week situation, and now all your clothes is off. I mean, you were a stripper,
and lumped up.
Yeah, and she did get lumped up because that means somebody sucker punched her. That part right there, I don't dig.
Yeah.
Nicki, really? You played it like that?
Really?
If you want to go there, we could have put some boxing gloves on, got into a ring, and kind of handled it.
I mean, for Cardi's defense, she was defending her child because supposedly Nicki had made a statement about her baby.
I don't even care about none of that because if you put your
I'm
baby,
saying that's how it started.
I know, but I'm just saying I don't care about that because, like I said before, if you put your baby up on this social media situation, everybody's not gonna say, "Oh, she's so cute," you know what I mean? And so you open yourself for that. But once you become a certain level of celebrity, or you get a certain level, you become a celebrity. You need to understand it. What comes along with that territory, and that's why I suggest training. When you talk about training, I think everybody that's coming into the game, they need training because you need to understand where you are now.
Etiquette,
And what is the deal? Yeah, I would have walked by her and I would have gave her the side eye, but I would never have said anything to her. Never,
but
ever.
She would have known.
But she would have known. You could feel me, but I will never say anything to you out in public like that because my reputation's on the line now, and Carly is transforming, and she's becoming.
Growing.
You know what I mean? But you could expect that from her. I mean, forever, ever. Anyone that would say that on national television, she said that on one of the shows or something, that if you have a problem with me, it's forever, ever. But here's the thing. She needed her team to just keep her calm. And where was her security? Where was her team? Where's her team? Her team, somebody from her team should have stepped in and said, wait a minute, no, we're not doing this right here, right now. I think, and Nikki, I think, set it up. Knew she was hot.
I know that the record sales have been off the wall for Cardi and Nikki.
But that's awesome.
That's
Nikki needed it right about now because her little level was going down. But I just think that Nikki played chess with her and she mentally got her. You know what I mean? Because she's not new to this. Right. And you already know that you said some sideways stuff.
Right.
And so that's going to create a response. And Carly is not mature enough to understand that I don't care all the way to the bank. I don't care what you're saying. Because that's where I'm going. I'm about to take your spot. I have the number one. But go ahead.
I wanted to touch on that cop who, the fatal shooting where in Dallas, where she went to the guy's apartment, shot the guy she thought was her own apartment, whatever. What are your thoughts on that? Because my whole thoughts are that they have a picture of the cop and the boy. So I think that they had a relationship and something went wrong. She was pissed or whatever, and she went and shot him. I mean, they have pictures of them, chilling together. And it's like, even if we live next door to each other, I know which door is mine. You know what I mean?
But I think that sometimes when you're in a state of rage, I think that rage really takes over. Some people say, I just went black, or I blacked out, or I went blank, or snapped, or something. So I think that she snapped, and she really was going to do her business somewhere else. I think it was an accident that she got there. And but I don't think she went in there and really shot him. Was she in a relationship with him?
It was her house. I mean, his house, not hers.
Oh, yeah. Well, then that was purposely done. That was purposely done. Okay, so we're going to take a break.
Take a break. And we'll be right back. Thank you.
Thank you. all these years. Hey.
Welcome back.
We're back with the ladies room. We have two special guests here.
Tymeka Coney.
I gotta take this purse out the shot. Hello.
And Reginald Hunter.
Reginald Hunter.
Hey.
Affectionately known as Big Reg all over the planet.
Big Reg.
And we have two writers with us, actually.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about Tymeka Coney and her play and what she's working on right now. So would you like to introduce yourself to the audience and let them know?
Yes, I'm just happy to be in the ladies' room. I
thank
think
you.
this is the perfect time for me to be in the ladies' room because you guys are all about encouraging women. And the play that I've written is to encourage women and men to be compassionate with their women. It's menopause. September is Menopause Awareness Month. So this play is not just to entertain people, but it's also to educate and bring further awareness of menopause. And a lot of you know that your mother, your sister, your girlfriend, your wife may be experiencing menopause. And there's always a stigma with it, like, oh, she's acting, crazy. I don't want to say that. Or
menopausal.
Yeah. And, it's like when I talk to people, they're like, have you been through menopause? Why would you write a play about menopause? And I'm like, no, I have not experienced it, but my mother has. And so I listen to her, and then I have older friends that I talk to, and each one of them seem to have a different experience with menopause. And so in this play, I have 9 ladies, and each one of them have that different experience. I have one of the actresses, Miss Kathleen Bradley, who was Miss Parker in Friday, Ice Cube's Friday.
Okay.
She
Parker.
And she was the first African American model on The Price is Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so
awesome.
she's playing the color brown, and the color brown is liberated after menopause. So she talks about like her sex life, and after menopause, like I don't have to worry about getting pregnant. I can have sex. So that's just a little taste.
One part of what it is.
But then I have other actresses that are like angry. I have one that's like sad.
What's she angry about?
Just everything. She's like, you might get cussed out today. I'm just on one. But that is another perspective of it.
Right.
And so it's been a really great time. I've learned a lot just from researching it, and I've learned to even just look at people and have more compassion. And that's what I hope that men will come to the play.
That's what I think is important that you're doing this, is because it is educational, and men do need to understand, because menopause ruins a lot of relationships because the man doesn't know what's going on. He's just like, man, she tripping. And, as a rule, we'll say, man, when women get in their 40s, they just go crazy. But they don't understand it's systemic. They don't understand that it's something cyclic. It's a cycle. So you have to understand. If you understand it, I think a lot of relationships probably would endure more than don't. In the upper stages.
I just was a lucky person. I mean, I went through menopause at a very early stage. I was 37. I had already had like 6 children by that time.
Wow.
So I was really done. But I didn't have
She said she was done.
She had 6 children.
I was done. But I didn't have the hot flashes, the sweats, and the attitude and all that. No, because it could have came, and I may not have been aware of it, because life is moving on daily, and nothing's stopping it. So it could have just been, and I wasn't aware, but I was aware that I was going through menopause, because I went to the doctor. I'm like, okay, so what's going on? I'm no longer having the situation monthly, and I need to know why. Wow. And so it was early menopause at 37. It was a wrap.
And that was shocking for me to hear that, because I went to her, because, I'm like, what is it like? So I went to her. I went to my mom. My mom didn't really have hot flashes or anything like that. So I hope that that's hereditary. And then I went to Brenda, and she didn't have them either. So I'm like, is it a vitamin that you take, or, and they were saying something about caffeine being linked to menopause. Like, I guess that's why some people have attitudes and this and that. So I don't drink coffee.
Oh, my God.
Right.
Can I get a cup, Tina?
As a preventive measure.
I don't want to
But I don't think it's that. I think it's just each individual. But I do think what is important in the play is to understand how to handle it.
Yes. We touch on that.
And you have to be able to handle it so that we're not sad. We're not that mad, angry black women, because, we already have that reputation of being angry and angry black women. Seriously.
I think that's dying down some. But to get back on topic, I think that women should understand it as well, because it's like having something going on with you and you don't know what's going on. You know what it is, but you don't know how it functions. And that's
everything.
Yeah.
Even with because I'm not sure if black women embrace not to get off topic, but just to touch base a little bit on another example similar on the postpartum situation.
Okay.
After childbirth.
After childbirth. Most people don't really realize that your body does go through a transformation as well, and you can be having certain feelings and sadness and anger.
I've seen women regret their children after, and that's they call that postpartum.
It is
And
postpartum.
that's part of postpartum.
Yes, it is. You do have these feelings and stuff, which I hear about because I didn't get that either.
I didn't get that. I never got
It's like, oh, he's so cute. Oh, look at her move, But it's all about our body and a change and a transformation on each level. The menopausal level is something that, is life-changing. You can no longer have any more children.
Right.
It's over. And you do go through all the different symptoms that
But what's
the play
shocking
is
to me,
acknowledging.
what's shocking to me is that you can enjoy sex after. I mean, I'm just saying because I don't know. So you can enjoy sex, really?
Yeah.
It still depends on your partner to wrap it up. Are you having free sex? We enjoying it because we not getting pregnant? Are we taking precautions? We putting something on? No,
Well, you
no, but
definitely
you do
have to
get to
have a
enjoy
partner
it.
because it would be ignorant to think that, well, I can't get pregnant, but you can't get a disease. So
Right.
that's why I was
you would
saying it
still
depends on
want-
your partner.
Exactly.
That's where I was going.
No,
Do
I'm
still wrap
saying-
it up, but you can enjoy it
No,
freely.
wrap it up, of course. But I'm saying you can enjoy it because I'm thinking that you're, because some people when they're in menopause they don't want to be touched.
Yeah.
So that's the part I'm talking.
Because you
about.
had 9 characters, right?
Yeah, and I was going to ask you, how did you feel having it at 36? Because I actually have one of the characters, she says it's perimenopause, and that's what she goes through. Just feeling like my whole life was taken away from me early. I'm 36. I'm still on social
That's
media.
young.
I still want to, be sexy. But I feel like now I'm 36. I can't do like other people my age are.
No, you tell her where she's getting that from. Tell her she could be sexy, she could be fine, she could do everything she want to do.
Tell
And
us
if-
the trade-off.
And if she wants to have a child, there's plenty of children that need to be adopted. But it doesn't take away from your sex appeal or your groove or your get down. That's mental, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not a professional doctor, but I'm
Right.
just saying that's mental. It's our mindset. It's how we think. It's how we receive
true.
things. And if you're going through menopause, you got to say, okay, I feel bad about that. Now let's flip it. What do I feel good about?
You know what I think as well? I think that traditionally women have been programmed by society to believe that they have like a cutoff date.
Mm-hmm.
So once I think mentally, on a psychological level, once you know that you're in menopause, you probably feel like you're old. You feel like it's over.
Just my
So
mind,
maybe
but-
at 37 you feel like you've peaked, and that's not necessarily true.
No, it's not. She's
Right.
37. She's still gorgeous. She's
young.
still
That's
fine. She
young.
still got to feel herself. She got to know who she is. Tell her to come to Brenda 101.
Right?
So the play is tonight?
Yes, it opens tonight at Inglewood Playhouse, which is, they call it now the Inglewood Willia G Playhouse. So we have a 7 p.m. show and a 9 p.m. show.
Okay.
And then we also have Saturday, which is a matinee at 4 p.m. and then 7 p.m. And then Sunday, 4 p.m. and 7 p.m.
That's
So
awesome.
6 shows this weekend.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Now,
And
this
the
is the
tickets
first-
range from, I'm sorry.
This is the first play that you've written.
No, I actually did a play at the Barnesall Theater in Hollywood 2015 on Mother's Day weekend. It was called The Truth. And then I just did another play October 2017 in Culver City called Love Makeover. So this would be like in the community, probably my third play.
Nice.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. So what are we working on next? What's the next thing?
I do have one that I'm working on. I got to finish writing it though. But
Yeah, no clue, no hints. What's going on? What's happening?
it's going to be about marriage and
Ooh.
how you think one thing, but you find out something different about your mate. So this,
Okay.
yeah, I don't want to give up.
It's
too
okay. It's
much,
okay. It's simple relationship period. No, I'm just playing.
But yeah, it's some twists and turns.
Okay, I get it. Trust me. I'm
Yeah.
you
It's
know,
called Who's Your Carrier? So that's just the
I
title.
like the title. I like
It
that title.
depends. It can go a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
But okay, that sounds awesome. That's wonderful. I'm looking forward to. I may come to check the play out tonight.
Yes, that's
What's
what I
the
was
ticket
going to
range?
say.
What's going on?
So it's $25 general admission.
Okay.
And so, yeah, that's a really good price.
Do you purchase them at the door? Can you go online? Or
Yes, you can go to eventbrite.com, brownpapertickets.com. You can get some out of my purse right now. I have some. I come through, with the tickets in my purse. No,
Be prepared.
I think I might buy a couple.
Hey, Yes, let's go.
And
Look,
I think it's good. I say have a girls' night out.
Yeah,
you know,
that would be perfect.
Bring your lady.
Or
by
couples.
yourself.
Couples should go.
Okay, or either roll by yourself.
Yeah, run by yourself.
Roll. Okay, that sounds awesome. So I think we're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back. Thank you. Good morning, and welcome back to the ladies' room. We have had the opportunity to speak with Tymeka Coney in regards to her play, and I hope everybody will go out, get some tickets, and see her tonight in Inglewood.
It's a must.
But you're so welcome. But we're switching over now to our guest, Reginald Hunter, who has a magnificent story to tell. And I'd like for you to introduce yourself to our listening audience and give us a brief information about your background. Just, brief us real quickly. It's a lot, and we have a lot to talk about. So let's go.
Again, my name is Reginald Hunter. Affectionately, everybody in the streets know me as Big Reg. If you really was in the streets with me, then you know me as Fat Boy. So I have several different monikers. If you was in the music business with me, then you would know me as Ari. So I know how you know me by how you refer to me. But I've been in Los Angeles my whole life. For 22 years now, but really for 48 years I've been in Los Angeles. I look a little young, but I'm 48.
Okay,
so I've been out here my whole life, and I had an interesting journey up to thus far. So we're just seeing where it takes me from here.
Okay. So what are some of your credits that you've done this far?
I've worked. I write comedy. That's my area of expertise. Mm-hmm. But I started off in music. So I worked with Usher. I worked with DJ Quick. I work with Whitney Houston and Bobby. I work with pretty much everybody. I toured with a lot of key figures. I was really intricate in the hip hop when it first started in Los Angeles, and but I really got my start from weed, just being real. You know what I mean? That's where my start really came from. And if it wasn't for that, then I don't know what I would be today, because all of the big studios used to call me. Because when, like Dr. Dre, and when they came out with The Chronic, there was only a few of us who really had it. And I was always connected in Malibu. So a lot of my white friends from Zuma Beach, they had it. So I would go get it, and the studios would call me when, let's say, Garth Brooks, whoever was in the studio. So I would be there, and that's how I made the multitude of my connections. And it just morphed into me writing songs and different things. So, paths, I would say. And
so how did you, I'm sorry.
No,
how did you get into the comedy writing? And who did you write for? We would know.
I wrote for J. Anthony Brown. I wrote for the Tom Joyner Morning Show for 17 years. I wrote a TV show with Tiffany Haddish before she blew up, and right when she blew up, we sold it. But she couldn't do it because she had they have what's called a no compete clause, but they had they had a big check on the table for us. So I felt satisfied for that. I write with most of the key comedians out here. I write with
Cedric,
pretty much everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, no, his reputation is really he's been in the business for a long time, and I love him because it does not matter what he's done, where he's been. All that, he is still the same all the time. All the time. You would not even know that his history is so rich in the comedy arena, in the rap arena, because he's been the same Reg, humble, sweet. And I like that. So what are you working on presently?
Right now, I'm in Pepperdine getting my master's. I went in
Pepperdine. Wow.
Pepperdine.
Pretty good place. Pretty nice place.
Out the street, how's the weed? How's the guy that's so weed end up at Pepperdine in the master's program?
Exactly.
Who's that? How did that happen?
It's crazy. Yeah. You know, Pepperdine. I had a rich history of Pepperdine since I've been involved with Pepperdine. My family has since the '70s, since it was in L.A. Okay. So our money helped it move to Malibu. So, but that's a deeper story for a different day. But Pepperdine is the reason why I actually became a hustler, because they took me at my mom's house and made us something. We were homeless, and I had to hustle and do what I did. And I was actually in the military when that happened. So I was using my military status to get on planes and do all kind of things. But again, if that hadn't happened, I might be some nerd engineer or something, and I don't know if I would be as happy. So
probably wouldn't be sitting here.
If all those creative juices would have been unleashed, it probably would not have been.
So the ethos or the character that I attained from the streets, and I think that is my biggest accomplishment, is that I was molded by some of the greatest street pioneers, and I learned a lot about just being a man. So then when I focused on academia and I made a shift, it was easy for me to fit into that world because I already come from a world that's mandated by just being a good person or you won't survive. Okay,
that's awesome. And so going into Pepperdine, when you went there, you said, I'm going here because I want to become a writer?
Actually, not just because I wanted to become a writer. I knew in 2006 that the music business was stagnating. Yeah, so I figured that YouTube or television was going to be the new medium, and I was right. Mm-hmm. So when I went, I majored in video production, and I majored in TV broadcasting and programming. So the person who decides what comes on, we're going to put a commercial here. We're going to put a children's show in the morning. I would actually make the programming for CBS or whatever. So, when I got there, they taught us the internet, because they said by the time you graduate in 2010, TV will be the second source of how people get their media. The internet will be huger. So they made me get a Facebook, and I was a street dude, so I was kind of hesitant because you had to have pictures, and I never wanted people to be like, just pull up my picture. Oh, that's Reg. So they made me get a Facebook because at that time it was only for prestigious not to say Pepperdine is prestigious or anything.
It is. Let's call it. Let's say what it is.
But it was only for upper crust universities, the Ivies and things like that, and when it first came out. So they made me get it, and they started making me check, before when I got to school every morning, they wanted to know 5 websites that I checked, and they started teaching us how to market online, and it just shifted my life. I taught my daughter how to set up a YouTube page because she was always watching for 12 hours. She'd be, well, what are you watching? YouTube. So I would go to people's channels and say, man, they're making money. So now she has a YouTube channel. She graduated from UCSD. She speaks fluent Japanese. Her channels are actually Japanese. She just got a silver play button. That's when you have to have 200,000 subscribers. So she makes about $150,000 a year at 26. Wow. So but YouTube is a great medium. Well, the internet. Period. Is a great medium. And I was preaching this back when we were in the studio with Quick and all of them back in 06. I kept trying to tell them, like, yo, we need to do.
Exactly, because when my daughters came off of the reality show, one of the things I told them to do is just do YouTube. Just talk talk about whatever you want to talk about, but put it on YouTube, and because everybody's going to see it, we're going to get all the viewers and stuff. But of course, they didn't listen. But I did get a lot of info from Reg, and I learned a lot just being around them. And one of them was the proper handling of people, how to handle people properly.
I appreciate that.
Yes, I saw that. But in Pepperdine, let's go back there, because now here you are, guys, that's coming off of the streets. How did that how were you mentally able? I know you said that you already was around a bunch of great people, but you are around white people all day long.
Well, it's just been that way. Most of my friends, even when I was doing business, I never did business with a lot of urban people. I was always in Covina or something. I was at the colleges. I was at USC. So most of my friends that were my customers in '94, they're some of the biggest lawyers in the world now. And so it's crazy how things just intertwine. But what I would say to you is, as for your plays and everything, internet marketing. I like to, when we get off air, I like to really show you some things to where maybe you can expand your reach. And really, it's not that hard. You just have to know how to market yourself via the internet. And I believe that as successful as you are now, you probably will be sevenfold or something.
Wow. I'm definitely looking for the sevenfold.
A change.
Right.
A positive
Reg,
change.
I don't know if you looked at our numbers lately.
That's true. Well, Brenda knows. All she had to do is you guys can come by the house as you as well.
All right. I'll take you up on that.
Yeah. I'm local. I live right down the street.
Yes, right up the hill. Okay, let's go there. But
that's what she's proud of me for that too.
I am so proud of him. I'm so proud of him. I mean, because he was an African American male and he purchased a house.
Wow.
You know, what was it? 10 years ago, Reg, or was it
about 9, 10 years ago?
About 9-10 years ago.
In Los Angeles.
In Ladera.
Let's go there. In Baldwin Hills.
Yeah.
You might not want people to know all that. Just
but I mean, everybody know him, know where he is.
Yeah.
Okay. But it is 1 point. I'm a real estate agent as well, so those numbers is like 1.7 at this point. So that was one of the major investment in your life as well.
Yeah, it was a great shift. So being around money, I was accustomed to that because I just never drove cars. That was my thing. Even when I was hustling, I didn't believe the car. I thought that was just too much attention. So even right now, I always just drive Buicks or whatever, and I'll pay them down till I own them, and never buy another car until I'll change the engine, I'll change the transmission. I just don't believe in paying people $700, $800 a month just to drive back and forth.
Right.
So, but they taught me a lot at Pepper. They taught me credit. I knew credit, but they taught me extensively how to really focus and the algorithm. Everything is algorithms, and if people understand the algorithms of life, really, because the internet is the computers are life, and computers function off algorithms. It's not like somebody's in experience checking your credit. There's a computer that's looking for certain things in the algorithm.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're not hitting these things, your credit is going down. So just knowing the algorithm keep you in a different bracket all the way around life.
I want to touch a little bit.
That's a good point.
Yes, I want to touch a little bit about your daughter with the 150 at 26.
Right.
Now that's awesome.
It is.
What was her major?
International business linguistics.
Okay, linguistics. Okay,
Yeah.
that's awesome. And so she speaks Chinese fluently.
Japanese, yeah. She
Japanese.
speaks. By the time she got to college, they didn't even have any classes for it, just how to bow and all that kind of stuff. So when dignitaries come to Disneyland, they'll send for her and she'll translate for them and things like that. She's black as us.
Okay, that's awesome.
Nice.
I'm feeling her because Khadijah, actually, my youngest daughter, she I'm not sure if it's Japanese or Chinese, but she had the same concept as to be able to speak. She wanted to be able to speak Japanese or Chinese. She thinks that's important due to our interaction, the commerce with Japan or China, economically.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's awesome. I'm just so proud of her.
How my daughter did it was crazy because she was maybe like 8, and her thing was video games. She was into a lot of Japanese anime and manga or manga, whatever it's called.
He draws anime.
Yeah, see, but that's good. Maybe USC has a great program for animators.
Yeah.
But her thing was video game consoles, PlayStation 2 and Nintendo. So I was I was balling. So I always wanted her to have them before anybody else.
Right.
So we would go to Little Japan because that's where they always had the systems first. But they were the Japanese systems. So when PlayStation 2 came out, I might have paid $1,500 for it back then, and it really only cost $400, but I got it a year in advance.
Right.
So I bought the system, and I bought a game that was Japanese, but I thought it was going to be English too. So when we got home, it was just straight Japanese. And I was like, well, let's take it back. And she was like, no, I want to play it. So we played it. And I noticed after about a week, she was figuring out this is start, this is this is that. So we went back to Little Japan to the library and bought her, I spent like maybe $600 on a little computer to translate any figure that she punches in.
Okay.
So she started learning that way. And then what I tell people about the importance of where you go to school. She was in school at Culver City. She was at the Culver City School District, so they had a Japanese program in the 8th grade.
So that was perfect.
So she started, and I would buy, when I went to Pepperdine in 2006, I would get her the Japanese textbooks from college, and she would work on those and work on. By the time she got to college, she was just fluent. Yeah. So
all right.
Yeah.
Okay, then that's the things that we need to know in our community, because maybe we can start a little Japanese school for other little children.
Yeah,
where she can, something where they need to understand that it's important.
Or just another language. I'm fluent in Spanish. I write it, everything.
Okay,
and you have to be.
I think in business too.
Yeah, it's important for business.
You need to be bilingual.
Because in Cerritos we have Chinese. You can speak Chinese and Spanish.
Right. Cerritos? You just talk to where were you? No, just
they already know where I'm from. But anyways, yeah. So I always thought, that was interesting. I put Chase in Spanish, which he wasn't too crazy about. But I think Chinese would be really beneficial, good. Especially if you're going to plan on being in business.
Yes,
it is.
So. Well, Karan was Spanish. He took Spanish early. Actually, he was a tutor when he was in elementary school. He was tutoring the other children, and until I went up there, but he was tutoring. And he learned Spanish. He learned how to speak Spanish fluently from that. But it's just about the second language is always good. Do you have children?
I don't.
Okay. Oh, okay.
That must be so nice. No, just playing. I'm just
enjoying
kidding.
life, are you? No, it's overrated. No,
like my projects
Mommy
are my
loves
children. I have to fund them.
Yeah.
Provide for them.
Right.
They keep me up late at night.
Nurture them. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, wow. So we get the double whammy from the projects to the children. No, it's overrated, but it's a beautiful thing if
It's a beautiful thing.
If it comes into your life.
It's a great sacrifice, but then again, it's a great sacrifice. So
it's a really great sacrifice.
Well, it really is. I sacrificed a lot this morning, but it's a great sacrifice.
This morning, my
daughter called me from college. I'm like, really?
Okay.
Oh, wow.
You already know. I already got the $1,000 call. Mom, I have no money.
Mine
was okay. So he already said he could hit me with a G. He was like,
I'm
Mom,
kind of own one right now.
Okay, no, well, Scott, you have to handle it because that's
I
all
handle
part of it.
She's like, thank you, Mom. You're the greatest. I love you and Dad. So yeah.
Call me next week and let me know, okay?
Yeah.
When I see the phone call from out of state, I'm like, okay. Because I told him I talked to his girlfriend, right? And I'm like, so, Paige, are you talking to Q daily? She's like, yes. He's like, what did you think?
Why wouldn't I?
Yeah. Exactly. And I'm thinking like, Mama, I'm not getting no calls.
Right.
I'm feeling a little shade here. But no, I understand it. It's good. I'm not tripping though. But I did ask that question, like, talking to my son daily. She's like, yes, I'm not getting my hair done. I'm not getting my nails done. I'm going to visit him.
Right. No sense in doing all that.
So I'm going to visit. I'm like, okay. But it's a good job. Parenting is beautiful. But
it's rewarding. Overrated. It's rewarding.
No, but in the end, they're going to take care of you.
All
the sacrifices you made.
That's what we all hope.
That's how it should be.
But she does have children, because to write a play and see it through to from beginning to end is a big thing.
It's a baby.
It's
a baby. I get it.
And all of these actors, I feel like, are my kids.
Your children, right?
Okay.
And promoters and everything else. People see a finished product, but they don't understand
all the work that goes into
everything that happens. That's just like the finished product is that child, your daughter. That's a finished product.
Right.
My son, my daughters, your children. Those are finished products. Yeah. But now, are they going to take care of you when they get older? I don't know.
I think so.
It depends on their spouse. It depends on a lot of factors.
And it depends on how you rear them. You know what I mean? That's important.
I don't know, Reg. Because sometimes
I'm mama's boy, so I'm good.
I don't know, Reg. Sometimes I step back and say, "Who are your parents?"
But when you look at it, when you say you have to let them get to a different stage, because they're still figuring themselves out. Yours are relatively young, even though they might be 30. That's still relatively young. You still haven't figured yourself out. You're traversing through life, and you're going through relationships with different men, women, this, that, and you have to recover from each one.
I understand that.
Tough.
But here's the thing. I know you.
But by the time you need them, to take care of you,
I get that part. I'm hoping I don't have to pay my own way through it. But here's the thing.
Well, I mean physically. We all break down.
Yeah. I can pay my way. Can I get that 24-hour person here? Can you go give me that juice, please? Yeah. No, but here's the thing. What I want to say about that, what you just said. Yeah, you do rear them, and that's the whole purpose of being a parent, is to input the knowledge that you have learned. Now, just because you're a parent don't mean you know everything and that you're always right. I take that in. But what I do understand this part is that I've been through enough. Like you, Reg, you hit all them corners and blocks and did a whole lot so that your baby can do what she's doing. So can you please just listen?
Right.
I mean, she was good. You got a good one. You know, she listened. She took heed. She was interested. She had something sparked inside of her when she was young. That desire and that drive. I think it's part of her DNA because her daddy is like that. But I'm just saying, on the other flip side of that, my whole life is making sure that you make right decisions because I've made enough wrong ones to know that, look, sweetie, if you just take this right here, this is a result of what can happen. And they still will go left.
Well, we have to think, with us as parents, we tend to be vain and forgetful. So if we could go back and talk to our parents, and as successful as you might be, they still might be like, yeah, you didn't listen, you didn't this, you didn't that. I taught you this, and when I did. So even though you might take care of them or whatever.
I'm older than you, Reg. My parents didn't play that stuff. You listened, or you got it really bad.
But I can assure you didn't do everything your mom told you to do.
I did everything. I was a person that didn't get in trouble. Because I knew what to do. I did. But I didn't get in trouble. Now, let's not misunderstand what I'm saying. I did me, but I knew not to get in trouble. I knew how not to get in trouble. I knew what to do. I knew how to play them. I knew what to say. I knew how to act.
Now, did they tell you what career path to take?
Please, my parents.
Yeah.
What career path to take?
Yes. Oh, I'm just asking. I don't know.
I think that came into play in our generation. No, they wanted to make sure you graduated from high school.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You wanted to make sure that you were doing the right thing. I mean, they said some stuff here and there, but not in depth. Not like, Brenda, you're going to go out here and you're going to meet this dude and this and that going to happen, or this is what you need to do. And I didn't get any of those lessons. I went back crying like, what happened? You didn't tell me.
I think that's a big thing in it too, because what was available to us, they have 50 times. Well, they have 50 times more available to them now instantly than we do. So it's tough just navigating through this terrain that we live in now.
Right.
It's easier, but it's tougher at the same time.
It is. It really is. Because we went outside. We loved outside.
Yeah, these kids,
my grandchildren don't want to go outside.
Yeah, they think putting them on punishment.
I know my grandson, let's go to the movies. We'll go get something to eat. We'll go to the movie, and then we'll come back, go stop by Yourgirl on the way back. This and that. He said, Mama. He called me Mama. He said, Mama, let's go to the restaurant, and then let's go home, stop at Yourgirl after the restaurant, go home and watch Creed.
What?
I said, we can go to the movies. Like, go to the movie. I promise you, we didn't go. We went home, went to Yourgirl, went and watched Creed.
Really?
And he chilled.
They think that these children are going to be. They're going to have social discrepancies. Like they won't deficient. They'll be deficient.
And I can totally see that. I can see that.
They
don't go out and play like we did. We had kids all around the neighborhood. These kids just stay in the house.
And my children are grown. They can still come by my house. My kids are grown and they will still come by the house. And we haven't seen each other and they're on the phone. Like,
everybody.
Are you on the phone? Everybody's on the phone. Like, if you didn't really come by to visit me, come back when you're really ready. Because I have stuff I can do.
If we could turn the corner, I just want to ask you something. Have you ever thought about doing like an adaptation of a book and turning it into a play?
Yeah, and I have people that ask me to write books for them, all kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm open. I'm a creative person. So I love every medium that has to do with entertainment and creative arts. Awesome. Yeah, I
think that's a great feather to have in your hat, as knowing how to make an adaptation. Because a lot of people who come to you with the money read a lot of books, and they'll say, "Could you,
entrepreneur?"
He's working a lot of.
No, they do. They'll come to you with the bread, and they'll say, "Hey, we want to do an adaptation of this book, and you've never read it or anything, but they trust your pen." So if you start, if you think about that just as an avenue, I think that it would maybe catapult you just to an area where you never even thought of. Because we as creators, we often just think about what we create because that's our intellectual property, and that's our children, if you will, to circle back to that. But I was just putting it out there to let you know most plays are adaptations, except the urban ones. But I mean, the big plays that's on Broadway and all that, they're mostly adaptations of books and things like that.
Funny you mentioned like Broadway. I really would like to take this play on tour. That's like a dream. Like the 3 plays that I've done is just like I've done them here, but I think that's the ultimate next step to go on tour.
To revert back, that's why I say the internet marketing. So let's just say, for example, we came to your play, right? I mean, my production crew. We came there and we shot the whole play, right?
Okay.
And then we just chopped it up into a little 3-minute sizzle reel so people could see little clips. and then we had you speak on it, and I interviewed you, and then we maybe uploaded that to WorldStar. We paid $700, $800 to put it on WorldStar. Now, even if you just get 60,000 views, these views are in Kentucky and here and here. Wow. Okay. So what you would do is you would go and you would look at your analytics and see where you're getting those views from. So if you're getting a lot of, let's say you got 10,000 people in Kansas City who really like the sizzle. Now you can start going to Kansas City radio and say, hey, we want to start promoting this tour and see how it does. Right. And then that's how you start booking. So
it's marketing right there. Okay, Reg. All right, okay.
Yeah, because when I first got in it, I just, I did it for the love. But when you look at it from a business perspective and just seeing like Tyler Perry, he made millions in plays. Right. And you wouldn't think that.
And pre-internet. Yeah. He was just, but his hustle was just he always put them on DVD. I mean, he always filmed them. Right. So that's the key, filming them, because you can only fit so many people in a theater. Right. But a film, you can get it to, you can just send it. You can send a file to everybody. You know what I mean? So it's important to film them. So if you don't have a crew there, filming a professional crew, we'll chop it up. It's not about the money or nothing, because it can be advantageous for both of us.
Okay, so also that's awesome. So we're gonna make sure we have a connection here. The things
and I hope y'all come out this weekend. I really do.
But we have to make it clear and put it on air. That's 15% this way, right?
Oh.
Can we get that to you? Look at me, my eyes. That's 15% this way, right?
Oh, okay.
Well, Reg, I want to talk before we have to wrap it up. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're working on right now, what's happening, and what you see in the future?
Right now, I'm working. I wrote a black Western called Dark West. It's
nice. That's different.
Oh, it's I have a couple of buyers, a couple of networks and everything looking at it. I'm writing I'm adapting Peter Pan, and I'm making it a black, urban Peter Pan. Peter Pan is going to be black. He's going to go to the hood, to a black foster home and find the kids. You know what I mean? So he's going to see lowriders and all kinds of things. They're going to be flying. So it's going to be nice.
Fly.
Who's going to play that? I see Snoop Dogg. That's what I see. But
maybe in it. But
he said maybe in it.
But he's too little old for Peter. He aged.
Yeah,
Peter
true.
never grew up.
Yeah, Peter
Snoop got gray. Snoop hairline up here.
Okay. Snoop's the younger.
Peter never grew up.
Version.
But that I wrote a couple of shorts that I'm going to shoot. My thing is I don't like to. I'm just an entrepreneur, so I believe in putting my money up. I've been doing it since I was hustling. I always believed I had record deals. Like I probably was one of the. G1 and I were talking maybe 2 nights ago, and we were talking about my career. You know what I mean? Like, dude, if I wanted to be, I could have. I was like one of the most sought after rappers in LA in the '90s, but I was making so much money that the money that they were offering me, fantastic. I don't know how much time we had,
right?
But a great story. I learned how to rap. I didn't know how to rap or anything. G1 and Quick, they taught me how to the cadence. So I made a demo. G1 and Quick did my demo.
Right.
The next thing I know, I took it. My manager was James Arsenal. He was Anita Porter's significant other.
Okay.
So they managed me. I made the demo. Gerald Busby, who used to run Motown,
we know
so he started running DreamWorks. Steven Spielberg had a record company. He had just started it.
Right.
He got the demo, and I had a deal the next day. Wow. So when he came to the meeting, it was just to Anita Porter's house. It was me. I brought Usher. I brought different. Usher was just taking off. He was like 10 times platinum with "You Make Me Wanna" or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So I made him come to the meeting with me, and Quick didn't show, but he was busy. He really did have a show. But G1 was there. At this point, G1 was getting $100,000 a track.
Right.
So he was hot. You know what I mean? So I got the deal. I got the deal memo the next day. And I turned it down. You know what I mean? And G1 was like, man, and he understood because they offered me, I was a businessman. So that's my whole thing. I don't care about looking good it's about the bread. Right. So they offered me $350,000. But the 50 went to me, and then the $300,000 was for marketing and making the song. But I don't touch any of that. So you want me to sign to you for 6 albums, and you can give me this $50,000 once I pay taxes, pay my attorney, I might have $10,000. But I'm making $50,000 every 2 days. So I don't really need it. I'm cool.
It sounded good at first.
It looked good on paper. So I keep it on. I keep that memo in my room upside down.
Right. He said upside down.
It reminds me that I made that decision.
You made the right decision.
I don't regret it.
That's so awesome, and I'm just so glad that you were here today. I'm so glad you came to
here. Yes.
I'm just
ladies' room.
Awesome. Yeah, ladies' room. Got to keep coming back because
guys
we
can,
keep going in.
And that's every man's fantasy to be a fly on the wall in the ladies' room.
Hey, Reg, we got to have you back because I wanted to talk a little bit about. We didn't get to touch on some of the things that I want to highlight on. So you definitely have to promise when you're coming back.
I'm here.
We need a meeting with you. Seriously.
No, it's done. It's family here.
It's done.
Family. I'm so encouraged by her that it's like, wow, I've never met a black playwright. So because I'm just getting into that sphere. So I don't know too many black. I haven't. So it's good to just see you picked up on your own, figured it out, did it, and not just.
So we have the brains and we have the activity. We have the education behind it, and we have the creativity.
Because I was just thinking, I've never met a black man that got a house in Baldwin. that has a house in Baldwin Hills.
Oh wow!
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, there we go. Okay, it's been such a pleasure.
So much
such
fun
you
today.
guys. Oh my God.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys
for being a guest on our show.
And we want to come back.
Thank
We're
you.
coming back. We're coming back. I want
And
you to
the
come
play.
back.
Everybody go out and see the play tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday.
And we're gonna be looking for this Black Western. So we definitely.
Well,
They
we'll
spell
definitely
it
talk about that.
MEN-O-pause. So that means
play on
men
words.
need to know about this pause.
Absolutely. Okay,
Absolutely.
thank you guys for coming. It's been a pleasure. And ladies' room, and I'm Brenda.
It's your girl KB.
And
Have
we're
a great
out.
weekend.
Wonderful
Bye.
weekend.